The Rangers morphed using cards inserted into a big tiki head morpher. Megazord just has gosh darn it! Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Saban Brands Top 10 off-season video. I mentioned last week that this video would technically be the conclusion of the Saban Brands Top 10, with a video on my hopes for Beast Morphers coming the following week. However, there's been something of a schedule complication. I had pegged Saturday, January 26th as what I thought would be a likely premiere date for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. The last Saturday in January, we were hearing January early on, and hey, if anything else, that's just one day after my birthday, so happy birthday to me, right? However, it turns out that is not going to be the case. The awesome ratings and schedule guru of the Power Rangers fandom, Burgundy Ranger, got the January Nickelodeon schedule grids, and Beast Morphers is not anywhere on there, which eliminates any premiere date up to Saturday, February 2nd. I structured this off-season with that January 26th premiere date in mind, and had decided that if it was any later than that, I would just figure something else out. It's going to be later than that. I needed to figure something else out. What I've decided to do is use the intervening time, the extra weeks that I hadn't planned for, as basically catch-up time for the channel. During that time, I will be doing 2 comically long reviews each week, with a vlog thrown in here and there if I can get my editing work time more efficient, where I have the time to put those out as well. But at the very least, 2 comically long reviews each week instead of 1, trying to catch those series up and working on getting up to the current on those comics. When we do find out the premiere date for Power Rangers Beast Morphers, which I'm thinking and hoping will be more than a week before that actual date, I will post my video on my top 10 hopes for Power Rangers Beast Morphers on that Wednesday. But in the meantime, I do still have this video to make. I've looked at basically every aspect of a Power Rangers season, the important ones at least, as applied to the Saban Brands era. Now it's time to rank those seasons up themselves. Heroes? Let's take a look at my top 8 Saban Brands era Power Rangers seasons. This disclaimer may not be necessary at this point, but I wanted to go ahead and say it anyway. This is a top 8 list, not a top 4 list. Yes, even in this era where 1 season of Sentai becomes 2 seasons of Power Rangers, each individual season has a chance to impress or disappoint. I mean, in the case of Megaforce and Super Megaforce, those 2 seasons are obviously incredibly different. But even in seasons like Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge, there are significant differences in things such as the overall tone that make them pretty different. Alright, let's go! Number 8. Super Ninja Steel. I'm sure that you all said it with me. I feel like I've detailed pretty well over these top 10 videos, with Super Ninja Steel ranking near the bottom of all of them, the various failures of the show, not to mention, of course, my reviews of every episode of it. Though actually, my Zord and Megazord lists in this off-season revealed another aspect of Super Ninja Steel that failed. Very little actually changes. For everything I talked about with the flat characters and the lack of a plot, Super Ninja Steel adds 1 new Zord and 1 new Megazord. Not a lot to write home about. Number 7. Ninja Steel. It is the fact that just a little bit more happens due to introducing all the various new aspects of the show in general, the Zords, the weapons, etc., that just barely pushes Ninja Steel up over Ninja Super Steel. Really, these 2 seasons are more or less interchangeable, and the only thing that keeps me from directly calling Ninja Steel the worst Power Rangers adaptation ever is the fact that its Sentai Ninja was equally terrible. Number 6. Super Megaforce. Then we reach the season that some are still going to call the worst, and while others admit that Ninja Steel is worse than that, can't believe that this was actually outdone in terms of terribleness. I will still hold Super Megaforce to the fire for its absolutely criminal waste of potential. You were given a season of Pirate Rangers. Actually, wait, you know what? Let me stop right there because it comes to mind that I've heard some clapback on criticizing that. People saying that of course they avoided adapting the pirate theme. Why is that something that they would have used? I have two responses to that. It's in your footage. It is draped all over your footage. A skull and crossbones-like logo, pirate hat helmets, a huge red pirate ship Zord, cutlasses, pistols. You know, there's some seasons of Sentai where the theme is kind of generally applied and can be ignored. Gosanger's age-old theme into Megaforce comes to mind, but this theme was just too in your face to ignore it. 2, why wouldn't you use it? Piracy is one of those overall lifestyle type stories where you can tell the story as serious and mature or lighthearted and kiddie as you want. SpongeBob SquarePants starts off every single episode with a pirate. There are plenty of kids shows and cartoons that are pirate themed. You could say that these powers were developed to steal or pirate powers from other Rangers, but Gosei somehow got his hands on them, gave them to these Rangers, and they choose to ask the Rangers for their powers, but can still use them because of the pirate ability of the suits. It's something that at least acknowledges the motif of your footage. So as I was saying, given a season of pirate-themed Rangers in an anniversary season where they use powers from the past, ending with an all-out battle featuring every single Power Ranger, it was actually incredibly talented in a very ironic and backwards way to churn out an adaptation that was so incredibly boring and meaningless. Number 5. Megaforce. Uh-oh, kind of a pattern forming, isn't there? I know a lot of you would rank Megaforce a lot lower, but remember that I'm the guy who got so annoyed with people saying Megaforce sucked when they were clearly talking about Super Megaforce that I made an entire video defending the first season of Megaforce. So obviously everything that the two seasons had in common was obviously bad during Megaforce. Shallow plots, flat 2D characters, etc., etc. But the unique elements in Megaforce just feel a little bit more creative. You had these Zords that started out just as heads that could be attached to weaponry in small mode before attaching to larger vehicles and becoming full-size Zords. You had a 6th Ranger that was a robot that was also actually a Zord. You had Rangers that morphed using cards that you put into Tiki-type morphers that batteries are running out and not working right. Megaforce just has the slightest bit more creative life to it. That's one way to shut him up. Number 4, Dino Supercharge. Super season, first season, super season, first season, super season. Dino Supercharge is where I draw that line I always put in my top 10 or top 8 list, because this is easily still better than any of the seasons that came before it. But we all know about the issues during Dino Supercharge. I still see people talk about them today. The plots got sillier, there was a lot more filler, there was a lot more focus on comedy, and especially slapstick. Do any of you remember how sick we got of pies to the face? This season even ends on a pie to the face gag. The stakes ramped back up right at the end, but it was just more hammy, more silly. It was just a lot more filler and sillier filler, try saying that 5 times fast, at that. But it did give us Heckle as the main villain, and that counts for a lot. Number 3, Samurai. Okay, come on, I mentioned the pattern twice. You knew it wasn't going to hold. Besides, Dino Charge at number 3. Anyway, I like Samurai. It's a good, solid, basic season. The characters aren't deep, but they are at least likable. The story sets up well. The villains are at least kind of interesting. Samurai's not bad. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to do a video in defense of Samurai? Well, the final two are clearly an inversion of the previous two. We've got Dino Charge and Super Samurai. Is it as clear a no contest as it seems? Let's find out. Number 2, Super Samurai. Super Samurai gets the edge on the first season of Samurai for having just a better overall story because the stakes are higher. You've got the Serrator arc deceiving Decker and Dayu and working on his own really intelligent but also simple and easy to understand plan. And after that, you get the return of Master Xandred, real legitimate fear in the final battles, and a great last stand by the Rangers. Nice new Zords were added to the mix. It's a good season. Number 1, Dino Charge. Dino Charge was such a good season that it calls into question just what the heck happened since then. There is a rumor, and I stress to say that this is a rumor because the people who have mentioned this to me are going to call me out if I don't mention that this is a rumor and not necessarily confirmed, that Haim Saban was away from the hen house during Dino Charge's production, instead overseeing production of the 2017 movie. He returned to the show for Dino Supercharge, and as I mentioned during its entry, there is a pretty significant shift in the show's tone. That also fits with Chip Lynn saying at the recent Power Morphicon that it was Mr. Saban who was insisting on a more comedic tone with slapstick and fart jokes for Ninja Steel. But anyway, I'm 4 sentences into this and I haven't even mentioned the show itself, and now it's 5. Dino Charge was not just the best of the Saban Brands era seasons. It's one of the better seasons of Power Rangers overall. The characters have depth and motivation and flaws, stuff that more recent Rangers have sorely lacked. The villains aren't necessarily the sharpest crayons in the box, but that actually kind of works for them. Not really intelligent, but diligent and working hard to get the things that they want. You have bright, colorful Zords that combine in interesting ways, a plot that weaves nicely through the entire season and builds up well. This is just a well-written, well-acted, and well-produced season of Power Rangers. Number 1. This time I have a pretty good feeling that you're going to agree with me rather strongly, but I have been surprised before. Let's take a look at the viewer's choice.
Well, there was really no suspense in this one, was there? Well, there was a bit of a surprise in third place, as besides Samurai and Dino Supercharge, Ninja Steel got a vote. Hey now, no mocking. Every season is someone's first, and that first season has a huge impact nostalgically. Second place, to my slight surprise, went precisely where mine did, Super Samurai, with 3 votes. But number 1 was just as obvious to you all as it was to me. Dino Charge wins it with an eye-opening 25 votes. This week's YouTube shoutout goes to Teddy Telez. Thanks for voting.
Well, at this point, this series is somewhere between an ending and a transition. There is, technically speaking, one more video in the Saban Brands Top 10 off-season, but it's more about taking the lessons that we have learned from the Saban Brands era and applying them, hopefully in a positive way, to the beginning of the Hasbro era, as I talk about my top 10 hopes for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. However, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I do not know when that video is going to be posted because I do not know when Beast Morphers is going to premiere. So, in the meantime for the off-season, enjoy my doubled up comically long reviews as well as the occasional vlog. When we do know when that's going to premiere, in the video before, I will put out a call for votes for your top hope for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So for the moment, just keep that in mind so you have it ready when the time comes. For now, that's going to do it for another Saban Brands Top 10 off-season video. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. In the comments below, let me know what you thought of this video, of my list, how you would rank it, where things were good and not good. I'm sure this one's going to generate a lot of conversation, so go ahead and have that conversation in the comments below. Be respectful. You usually are. Just be respectful, and let's have a little debate about this. While you're down in the comments, make sure you also smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you liked this video. Subscribe to the channel to see all of my videos and ring that bell, get your notifications set up, so you can get notified of when I post videos just like these Saban Brands Top 10 off-season videos. And if you would like to lend any financial support to my channel, especially since it has been demonetized, watch my State of the Channel video if you haven't seen that yet to find out all about that. There are two ways that you can do so. Head over to digitaltipjar.com/orangerangervid, where you can donate any amount you'd like, or ko-fi.com/orangerangervideos. Coffees are set at $3. You can donate as many of those in sets of 3 as you would like, or if you want to donate less, like I said, go over to Digital Tip Jar. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. And what I have figured out is that and the idea. This is a top, damn it, I did it again. Top 8. This disclaimer may not be exactly necessary at this point, but I do still feel that it needs to be said, which means it's necessary. I'm sure you said it all. I've detailed over these top to the. So obviously everything that was bad about the 2 seasons